Hey everyone, we are back and today we are in lesson 1-6, solving two-step equations. So whenever you try to solve equations, you are trying to get n by itself. But if you see now on the equal sign always separates the two sides of an equation, we have this plus 7 and we have a divided by 3. Or n over 3. So there's two different things going on. That means we're going to have two steps to solve this equation. So how do I know which one first? Do I get rid of the 7? Do I get rid of 3? Well, as a general rule, wherever n is, the number that's closest to n, like this is n divided by 3, that's you're going to save that one until last. So you're going to get rid of the outside bit. So I would say here's n, right? Everything on the outside. This 7 is on the outside. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that one first by doing the inverse operation. So how is this 7 related to n? Well, it's related through addition. So we're going to do the inverse operation of addition, which would be subtraction, to both sides of the equation. 7 minus 7 is 0. And now we have n over 3 equals 22 minus 7, which is 15. Okay, we are still trying to get n by itself. So now there's a 3. How is the 3 related? Through division. So we're going to do the inverse operation of division, which would be multiplication. And just go ahead and show your work like this. This is the same thing as 3 over 1. And we're now multiplying fractions, so we look to cross cancel any common factors between 3 and 3. Yes, 3. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times n is just n. And then we have 15 times 3, which is 45. Okay. That is the answer. Awesome. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to check it. So remember, write the original equation. N divided by 3 plus 7 equals 22 for when, so we're checking our answer, for when n equals 45. Okay. We're just going to substitute that value in for n. Okay, so 45 n for n, instead of that, divided by 3 plus 7 equals 22. Well, what is 45 divided by 3? That is 15 plus 7 equals 22. Is that equal? Is this equal? I don't know. We're trying to figure it out. What's 15 plus 7? That is 22. So yes, it is equal. Well, what does that mean? That means that the number I stuck into the original equation, 45, is the solution. So n equals 45 is the solution to the equation n over 3 plus 7 equals 22. And there we go. That is how you show your work for these types of problems. Okay, let's go ahead and try another one. Now this one is kind of interesting. I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit. We're going to need lots of room for this one. So this one you can actually solve a couple different ways. And so we are going to practice solving this particular problem two different ways. And it's really, really important that you know how to solve these equations different ways because sometimes in mathematics it's advantageous to solve it one way and then another way it's advantageous to solve it the other way. So it's always good to be able to be comfortable with solving this particular type of equation multiple ways. All right, so let's start it. So let's go ahead and solve it the first way. We have y minus 4. All of that is over 3. Okay, now, since this whole entire thing, we get the negative 4 and we have this whole thing is divided by 3. Since this whole thing, y minus 4, is divided by 3, one possibility is just to get rid of that first. And how we do that is by multiplying this whole side by 3. And if we multiply this whole side by 3, then we have to multiply this whole side by 3. Okay? This is pretty cool because it's the same thing as 3 over 1. And then we're just really just doing the same thing, multiplying fractions. We look to cross cancel, and there's a 1 in this y minus 4 bit, so that's We're just going to leave that how it is. And then we have the 3 and the 3. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 3 another time. So that cancels out, and now we're only left with y minus 4 equals 9 times 3, which is 27. And now we're just to a one-step equation, trying to isolate y, get it by itself. So we're going to add 4 to both sides, and we're left with 31. Awesome. Okay, let's do the next one. This is a second way to solve the same problem. All right, I'm going to write the original equation. Now, whenever you have something like this, and the whole thing is divided by 3, what that means is each individual part, you can separate this, and each individual part is also divided by 3. These two things equals 9. These mean the same thing. Okay? They are equivalent. So if we were going to solve it like this, what we could then do is just add 4/3 to both sides. Then we'd be left with, this cancels. Y over 3 equals, okay, I'm going to take this little bit right here to my scratch paper up here. So 9 plus 4/3. 9 is the same thing as 9 over 1. I'm adding fractions, so I need to get a common denominator. That's going to be 3. Multiply it to the bottom and the top. That means I'm left with 3 times 9 is 27 over 3 plus 4 over 3. That's nice. I have my common denominator now, so I'm going to keep that and then just go 27 plus 4, which is 31. Okay, so 9 plus 4/3 is equal to 31 over 3. All right, now I'm back to getting y by itself. Well, there's this divided by 3. I have to do the inverse operation of division, which would be multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3, and this is how you'd show your work. These 3's are going to cancel. I'm left with y equals, let's go over here. This 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. We are multiplying fractions, so we look to cross cancel first. And if you see, there's a 3 and a 3. So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 3 one time. And then 1 and 31, I can't do anything with that, so I just multiply across. I got 31 times 1, which is 31, over 1 times 1, which is just 1. So y equals 31. And if you see, I got the same answer both times, which is what you should do. So for your homework, and when we do this next check it out example, I want you to show it both ways. I want you to be able to use your algebraic skills to be able to solve this problem 2 different ways. Okay, but we're not done. We have to check it. So we are going to write the original equation. And we're doing this for when y equals 31. All right. We're going to stick 31 in for y. So 31 minus 4 all over 3 equals 9. Does that equal? I don't know. We're going to figure it out. All right. 31 minus 4. We got to do order of operations. So we need to simplify this bit on top of the fraction. 31 minus 4 is, what is it? 27. So 27 divided by 3, is that equal to 9? I don't know. What is 27 divided by 3? It is 9. Awesome. So this is equal. 9 is equal to 9. That is a true statement. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that the number we stuck in for y into the original equation right here is the solution. So y equals 31 is the solution to the equation y minus 4 all over 3 equals 9. All right, so we did this problem 1, 2, 2 different ways, and then we checked your solution. So you're going to have to do that. Not on check it out example number A. So this is your turn. Just go ahead and solve that like normal, but when we do check it out example 2B, you're going to have to solve this two different ways. And make sure you check your answers on both. Okay, so now it is time for our friend, the Pause Dragon, to remind you that now it is time for you to pause the video, go ahead, work out both of these examples, and then come back and check your answers. Okay, we will see you in a bit. All right, we are back. So let's go ahead and go after this first problem first. We are trying to isolate n and get it by itself. So there's two different things, divided by 4 and a positive 8. We're going to get rid of the 8 first. The inverse operation of addition would be subtraction. So we subtract 8 from both sides. That cancels. We're left with n over 4 equals 10. Okay, still trying to get n by itself. We're going to do the inverse. Did I say? Yeah, I did say n. We're going to do the inverse operation of division, which would be multiplication to both sides. 4 over 1, the 4's cancel. We're left with n equals 10 times 4, which is 40. I hope you got that answer. If you didn't, that's okay. Try it again. Figure out what you messed up with, on and fix it. If you got it all right, then hey, nice job. All right, but we're not done. We need to check it. So always write the original equation. Did you write the original equation? I hope you did. Okay. Here we go. So for when, we've got to get some more room, n equals 40. Okay, we're going to substitute that in, 40 in for n. So it's going to be 40 over 4 plus 8. Does that equal 18? I don't know. We're going to solve this and simplify it and figure it out. Remember, whenever you're doing these simplifications on the check, you have to remember your order of operations. So we have division and addition. Division, you do that first before addition. So 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 8 equals 18. Does it equal? I'm not sure. 10 plus 8, that is 18. It equals. This is a true statement. Woohoo! We did it. Our answer is right. So that means the number that we stuck into the original equation is correct. That is the solution. So n equals 40 is the solution to the equation n over 4 plus 8 equals 18. All right, here we go. Okay, on to the next one. How did you guys do with solving it two different ways and checking? Let's go. So the first way we did it, let's see here. I'm going to write this original equation. The first way was that this whole y minus 7 is divided by 2. We're just going to multiply the whole entire equation by 2. All right. What happens is these 2's cancel out, and we're just left with y minus 7. And then 7 times 2 is 14. Very cool. Now it becomes very easy. We just do the inverse operation of subtraction, which is addition to both sides. And we're left with y equals, what is that, 21? Yes, 21. 21. Perfect. That's one way. Let's do it another way. Okay. Write the original equation again. Okay, and this is we're going to write this equation in its equivalent form, which is the same thing as y divided by 2 minus 7 divided by 2 equals 7. All right, now we're just going to solve it. So the inverse operation of negative 7 over 2 would be a positive 7 over 2. And sometimes you hear about me talk about this being, subtracting, and sometimes you hear me saying negative, and that's okay because they're the same thing. So you're just going to do the opposite. So if it's negative, if you're talking about subtracting, the opposite of subtracting is addition. The opposite of a negative is a positive, and that's totally okay. Just got to make sure you do it to both sides. So there we go. Those cancel. We're left with y over 2 equals 7 plus 7 over 2. I'm going to do this kind of a fun way. So 7 plus 7 over 2 is the same thing as 7 and 7 over 2. I mean, it's just, you could really write that as a mixed number. And once we have it as a mixed number, we can just write this as an improper fraction. which would be 2 times 7 is 14 plus 7. 14 plus 7 is 21 over 2.